Okay, looks like I can move now and you can see me, and I still look like I don't have any hair. The problem seemed to have been the virtual background that I'm using so that you can't see the chaos that is behind me. I need to get a green screen, and I'm probably going to try to grab one tomorrow on Prime Day. I guess I can do it tonight when I'm done here. And Janet, are you there? Just gonna wait a bit and see if anybody comes back. Hi, Brandy. How are you doing? There we go. And I'm moving and everything. Yeah, Janet, it turned out it was an issue background. It was not playing along. Okay, so you guys can see me and hear me now. Yay! Yeah, it's been a few, I think it's been 2 weeks since I did a live. The heat in Southern California is kicking my ass. Um, uh, let's see. Yeah, it's just, heat is a major migraine trigger, and then, I'm a nurse and I should know better, but I'm usually slightly dehydrated at baseline, and I need to do better. I literally have two Stanleys. One's supposed to be at work, one's for home. Both of them are here unwashed, and I need to take care of it. So, nice to meet you, Brandy. I'm trying to think if I have seen you in other chats, and it seems like I heard you mentioned earlier. Hey, Carrie Ann. Good to see you. Oh, so sorry. The heat is a trigger. At first, I was like, "Wait, what?" Just adjust this a little bit. Yeah, and it's always been that way for me. When I was a child, I started having my migraines when I was probably about 4. Okay, Brandy. I don't think I'd ever seen your YouTube handle before. Okay, I gotcha. Thanks for coming over. Did you guys see my post on Reese's group? Yeah, it's hot in Alberta also. Yeah, I bet. And it's actually been cooler so far this week, but I think it's supposed to heat back up towards the weekend. But last week it was in the hundreds, and it it makes me feel exhausted, and then I don't have to be out in the sun for longer than half an hour before my eyes start to hurt, and the migraine comes on. So it's basically, I have one at least once a week now, sometimes a couple of times, or I think it's a couple of times. Sometimes I can't tell where one ended and the next one started. Hi, No Face, how are you doing? Just wanted to hang out with you guys a little bit, just because I haven't been on for 2 weeks. It's amazing how B plus, A minus for your paper. Carrie Ann, that is fantastic. I knew you'd do it. All that worry, but that's what we do to ourselves, isn't it? We worry that we did bad, even though we know good and well the quality of work that we can produce, right, Carrie Ann? Yay, Carrie Ann! That is exciting. What's your next class? Or are you taking any more classes? So I'm trying to think of what I've been up to for the last 2 weeks. A week ago Saturday, a friend of mine was gifted tickets to see Patti LaBelle in Palm Springs at the Fantasy Springs Casino and Hotel, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe she's just turned 80 in May, I believe she said, and she doesn't look it. She doesn't move like she used to, but she doesn't move like she's 80 either. And it was a lot of fun. My friend and I had a lot of fun that night. And then ADHD isn't letting me remember. Oh, she is still jamming. She was absolutely amazing. When I heard the first notes of Somebody Loves You, I knew I was going to cry. And I was just like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to. Why do I feel like crying? And as soon as she started singing, I just lost it. But it was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, we had a really good time. And we had great seats. We were in the 11th row, just a little off to stage left. So we had very good seats. And yeah, I wished I could have put that in a bottle. We felt great that evening. It was just wonderful. So, and then this past weekend, I was with the same friend and met her out in Palm Springs where she lives. She actually lives there, but right now she's staying out in another city on the other side of me, where she's in an Airbnb and she's taking electrolysis classes, and that's going to be exciting for her. So, and I hung out with her and her roommate at the Airbnb after we got her back there, and it was just a really nice day, and I really enjoy spending time with my friend. She and we go back 30 years, but we've lost touch for, I'll just say, a long time. And then we reconnected last fall, and it's just been great to have her back in my circle. Carrie Ann, next quarter is teaching practicum. Oh, how exciting! And it's great you get to do it from home. Is that how you wanted to do it? And Brandy, I love your YouTube handle, by the way, because that is one of my favorite songs. When I drive, the kiddo, commandeers the radio. And so when she's going through and I hear it on, I'll be like, go back. That's just been one of my favorite songs since I was a kid. Yeah. Oh, you did, Brandy. Isn't that great? Isn't it a nice feeling? And you can kind of, things have changed over time. A lot of things changed with my friend and me. But it's like, to a degree, you can pick up you can pick right up where you left off, right? So yeah, that's always a good feeling, and that's one of the reasons why I don't. Sometimes I look at Facebook and I just want to delete the whole thing, but that's one of the reasons why it's worth it. Yeah, that's great, Brandy. Congratulations. That's always good news. What's going on with you, Janet? And No Face, how are you doing? Okay. Easier to manage from home than it would be in a classroom. I'd have to set the classroom up and break it down. Oh, no, that's not. Never mind. Webcam is just fine. So, that's very cool. That is exciting. Oh, I can't wait, Janet. Yeah, if everybody could, can I don't know how to do this from here. Oh, I know, I can do it this way. So, it's the magic of the iPhone. Where are you? Da, 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 da. So back to things like CPTSD and trauma and grief. My memory has been an absolute mess for the last couple of weeks, and I did really good for 1 week leading up to the concert. I was journaling every evening, and it really seemed to help a lot. And hang on just a second. Okay. I forgot how to do everything. I don't know how many of you were there to watch me struggle going live. This was my 4th attempt before I realized the virtual background was acting up, and so I was just frozen. And so I had fun with Janet just making faces and turning off and turning the camera back on to capture weird faces. Let's see. Oh, No Face, a quick synopsis of my background. I don't know how to make it quick. Because I feel like I've lived 3 lifetimes. I am a Southern California native. I have 1 kiddo that I inherited when I lost a friend. And yeah, she's been mine for almost 2 years now. She's 17. She'll be coming on the cruise with me. I don't know how many here are going to be on the cruise in September. And she's a great kid, but she's been through some stuff, and so we're working on that. Her mom died in 2022, 5 years after her dad had died. So she wanted to live with me, and so she does. And I love her as if she was my own kid. I am a former court clerk, started there as a temp when I told, the department manager had asked me if my temporary agency had told me how long I would be there. And I said, she said about 6 weeks, and the manager laughed, and she said, oh no, you'll be here much longer than that. And I'm like, what does that mean? And they kept me there as a temp for a year. And then finally, because the position was closed because Riverside County was going through, actually many counties in California were going through financial issues, and when they finally opened up the position, I interviewed and I got it, and then I wound up being there for over 12 years. And I left there to go to nursing school. So I became an LVN. The kiddo was born in 2007, and that's when I met her mom. Her mom was pregnant, and we had started school together, and then a month later, I don't even think it was that long, I think it was about 2 weeks later, the kiddo was born. So I've known her since before she was born, I always say, and I've loved her that long too. And so circumstances being what they are, it's good. It's a good thing. And let me see. Yes, definitely No Face. It ain't easy, but we're doing okay. Oh, Brandy, your youngest was born in 2007 too. Yeah, the kiddo, she's actually going to. Oh, I said she's 17. She's going to turn 17 actually 2 days before the cruise. So it's going to be like a birthday present for her. And so we're good. So yeah, I got my LVN back in 2008, worked as an LVN 5 years, something like that, 7 years. And then I went back and earned my RN in 2017. So yeah, it's been a journey. And I came to have a channel by accident. I was just going to go out to La Poubelle to see what I could see and see if I could contribute to an LVN is a licensed vocational nurse. In the United States, there are registered nurses, and then one step below them and above a nursing assistant is a licensed vocational or a licensed practical nurse, LPN. I know California and Texas have LVNs, but most states have LPNs. And LVNs in California and Texas, we can do a little bit more than an LPN, but not as much as an RN. So, and becoming an RN had always been my goal. When I finished the LVN program, I was wiped out, and many of my classmates had gone and transferred directly into the RN program, and I was just like, I need a break. And at that time, I did not know, nor did I know when I was in the RN program, that I had undiagnosed ADHD. And it's like literally awakened. Hello, hi, it's good to see you. Nursing school is hard, and it was really hard with ADHD, mainly because mine is the inattentive type, and I have a hard time sitting still during a lecture. There were times when I took my laptop and my friend would look over and she's like, "Are you playing The Sims?" I'm like, "Shh." I sat in the back row. I'd hit, it was a Windows laptop, but we would hit Windows D to, or Windows Tab to change the screen really quick. But I could not sit there and listen to an instructor just read off of the PowerPoints that I could read myself. I didn't see the point. So I spaced out on that most of the time, and then I would shine in clinical and in lab, and I don't know, that's just how it was. Thank you, No Face. How that came about is interesting, because when I got the job as a temporary clerk at the Superior Court here, I was excited because I'm like, oh great, I remember thinking this, I'm gonna be able to help people. And then I get there, and the first thing that they tell me is that I can't help people the way I thought I could. And I was literally just pushing paper. I would, at the front counter, the clerks would file the documents, they would bring them back over to my section, and I would literally push them through a scanner. I was literally pushing paper, and I hated it. But as I said before, they eventually hired me, and I even got one promotion while I was still there before I decided I didn't want to be there for the rest of my life. And it was when a friend of mine, a coworker, she had been in a car accident and became quadriplegic. I would go and spend time with her at the hospital, and actually eventually I was kind of assisting with, repositioning her and things like that, and I was actually kind of learning, and nurses would say, hey, you should think about doing this, I think you'd be really good, and it felt right. So I went back to school and worked part-time at the courts while I did my general education stuff, and then managed to get into the LVN program on the first try. Usually they're they were they get like 400 applicants and can only take 60. So usually they do it kind of by, I think it's a lottery now. But at that time it was based on your credits, where you lived, you know, you were given points. It was a point system. And so I managed to get in on my first try, and that's kind of unheard of. It was really kind of weird because my grades weren't that amazing, but here we are. Brandy, you're getting supernatural flashbacks. That's funny. Actually, I had when I was talking about the kiddo taking over with the car radio, I was thinking driver picks the music and the passenger shuts his pie hole. Because that always rolls around in my head. That's funny. Yeah, it's good to get to know you too, Brandy. Brandy, I am so slow. I am so slow. I'm just realizing we were just messaging a little while ago, weren't we? Okay. I get it now. The pieces are all coming together. And now the screens are all popping around and doing weird things. That's funny. Yeah. So what else is going on with you guys? Hi, Heather. Hello. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. So, Janet, what kind of things are you going to be talking about on your channel? Oh, I don't know why that happened. Let me see. And what are y'all up to? I know it's late for some of you guys. Oh, thank you, No Face. And we have a Sunrise Dawn. I wish she was here. She usually turns up for Crickets Live. So, yeah. I didn't really have a whole lot to say this evening. I just wanted to touch base with you guys because, like I said, I've been out of touch for about 2 weeks. Hi, Psych! Good to see you. How are you doing? Oh, thank you, Awakened. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was something else I was struggling with. I had scheduled the live, and then couldn't figure out how to post the link over on Reese's PCs. So, oh, Janet, I am here for all of that. Because that's just kind of been my thing since I turned 45. Things were slow going at the very beginning, and then I turned 50, and it was like a crash course in growing up. I had always refused to, and then I realized I had to, and then even more so in the last couple of years. Growing, thriving, exploring, and learning. Oh, short stories about our lives. Going on nature walks. I really like that, Janet. Right, Heather? I was just telling her before you came in how much I love that song. When I hear it, it literally reminds me of being about 6 years old listening to a transistor radio in the Arizona desert. Oh, Carry On My Wayward Son, yes. Yeah, that's another one when that comes on the radio, everything stops. Oh, I like that. My kids moved out for university, and I was thinking, now what? The answer kept coming back to me as I want to grow and continue to learn in whatever I do. I love that. Yeah. Because I worry for people who say, I'm an adult. Like they automatically know everything when they reach a certain age, and you don't. I'm trying to get the kiddo to understand that. You know, next year she'll be 18, and she's like, I'll be an adult. And I'm like, you'll be old enough to vote. Hard stop. You really can't. Your brain, and I keep reminding her, biologically and chemically, your brain has not finished baking until you're about 25 or so. And I can attest to that. I would told one friend that when I was a teenager, I couldn't wait to be 18. When I was 18, I thought I was free. By the time I turned free, and I knew everything. And then by the time I turned 21, I realized I didn't know as much as I thought, and being an adult sucked. By 30, I was able to understand what I didn't know. By 40, I was okay with what I didn't know and was becoming willing to learn more and recognize that learning is a lifelong thing. Growth is a lifelong thing. If you're not growing, you're dead. So, yeah. No, I think you and I are on the same page, Janet. Exactly. No one knows everything. And Janet said, my twins are 25 and technically adults. Well, adulting a lot more gradual than that. Yeah, exactly. There are still things where I kind of fail at adulting, and that's okay. One of the things that I'm learning as I grow is to give myself grace for the things that I mess up. And that's important, but equally important is to also recognize where you messed up and learn from that so you don't do it again. Yeah, Heather, although I'm going to tell you, I really don't think I really felt like I was still looking for another adult, an adultier adult when I was in my 30s. I was doing better, but yeah, I grew up in a very sheltering religion, and I had to learn a lot of things about humans and how they interact, because I mean, all of my schooling and my first try at college had all been through the Seventh-day Adventist educational system, and it's in a bubble. So when I left that and was in my 20s and working as a temp, and I'm out there working with trying to think of a better way to say it, or how they would have said it. It's a lot of I've done so much deconstructing with my religion and faith that fortunately I've erased a lot of the nonsense that I learned growing up in that church. But I was basically learning how to live and work with people in the real world. And it was a crash course at first, especially working at the courthouse where I'm dealing with, nobody comes to the courthouse because they're happy. And I worked in the civil division and in the criminal division. No one comes to the court because they're excited about it. And so I dealt with and had to learn how to help unhappy people. And I actually got pretty good at that. And after a while, I would see somebody in the line that looked like they were not having a good time, and I would hope that I could get them at my window, because my goal with every interaction was to have them leave feeling a little better than they did when they got there. And I got pretty good at that. Yeah, you were SDA adjacent. Yeah. And I'm over here near the hub, near Loma Linda. So, and I was actually born at White Memorial, the one named after Ellen. But anyway, I've been reading a book that has opened my eyes to some things that I had suspected all along, but being actually confronted with the evidence and the receipts about the Adventist Church and the prophetess has had me going through all kinds of emotions. Yeah. But it's really kicked off the deconstruction so that I can hopefully rebuild. Because right now, well, I won't get into all of that at this time, maybe later. But yeah, that's been interesting. Let's see. Yeah, you know what, Awakened? I'm 54, and most of the time I think I'm goofy, and I'm okay with that. I embrace my goofiness. And I think, because I don't act immature, but I do try to find fun where I can. Mary, hi, how are you? It's good to see you. And yeah, it's but it's good to know that hardly any of us as adults feel like we're adults, and that's okay. Let's see. Mary, how are you doing? Yes. Forever a Toys R Us kid. We don't even have Toys R Us anymore. But definitely, yeah. And that's one thing I'm trying to, because of the things that the kiddo has been through, she's missed some chunks of childhood where she didn't get to be a kid like she really deserved to. And so I try to find opportunities where we can do that. We can both be kids for a little bit. And she'd never been sledding. And so this past winter, we went up to Mount Bald. We went up to, what is it? I can't remember what that city is, that town in the mountains is called. Oh well, mountains nearby. And I bought plastic sleds, and then yeah, she had a good time. She had a really good time. My sister is 66 and the goofiest person you will ever meet. Always was, always will be. Yeah, I think one of the worst things that we do when we are learning to be an adult, or learning to be an adult, is that we forget how to play. And I think it's important that we play regardless of our age, because it brings us joy. I feel like I'm missing something here. Oh, Mary, I am so sorry to hear that. I am so sorry to hear that. Do you think the stress of learning about your aunt triggered the fibromyalgia flare up? One of my favorite memes I share a lot says, behind every strong independent woman stands a little girl who had to learn to stand up alone without depending on others. I love that. I love that a lot. Yes, definitely. Brightwood. Thank you, LBC. My brain was just not braining right now. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Blessed. How did you do that? You got a link up. Is everybody able to see the link? If not, I can repost the link. Oh, I didn't even take it as yelling. That was that was great. I'm glad you shared that. I'm so sorry, Mary. Are they able to reach out to the pharmaceutical company and see if you can get a price break on that? Because healthcare, the cost is something that I will die mad about if they don't fix it. Yeah, everybody give Carrie on a sub. Oh, I did? You know what? Here I'm in Restream and here I can't see who has wrenches. That's right, I did that. Thank you for reminding me. My memory has been a hot mess, and I'm going to journal before I go to bed tonight and see if I can kind of get back on track, because that first week that I did it consistently, it really seemed to help. And then last week I just kind of dropped the ball on all of that. Yes, and it's, if you haven't subscribed to Mary's channel, Blessed to Crochet. She's got a nice chill vibe over there, and I really like it. And are you still doing game day on Fridays, Mary? And you know what I figured, Brandy? Just like with anything else, we can't beat ourselves up when we can't be consistent. We just have to get right back up and do it again, and just keeping it until we make it a habit. And how many times is it they say that you have to do something 21 times to make it a habit? Something like that. And yeah, so it's just going to take some time and some practice, but I have to say that I've been more consistent since I went back to using a paper journal. than I was. 28 days, thank you. And I've been more consistent. That 1 week made me more consistent than I had been in the past trying to use electronic journals, because even I get daily reminders from my, I use an app called Journey. It's on Android, PC, and iOS, and I get daily reminders and have for the last 7 years, and I still don't. I'll see it every morning at 9 a.m. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that later. So, but I have been more consistent because it's integrated into my planner. I use a Happy Planner. I like that because, I can remove pages and archive, so I don't have to carry around something thick. I don't have to keep buying new notebooks. I just buy new pages. One side is my daily planner. Yeah, that's the one. So on one side is where I can outline my day, and then on the back it's blank, and I can use that to journal about the day, how it went. So that was working pretty good until last Sunday. Last Sunday I got home and I just didn't feel like it. So, Journey. And let me see if I can put up a link for that. Yeah. There we go. Copy link. It's pretty cool. So if you don't want to download an app, you can use this link and do it web-based. But the cool thing is, when you create an account, it will sync. You can sync it to all of your devices. So yeah, it's on my phone, iPad, computer, Windows laptop. Yeah, typing is easier, and you can even use voice to text, and then go in and do some edits, or you can even just do voice recordings. And one of the things that I loved was you can add photos, videos, anything, because if I capture something on my camera that I want to memorialize, I can do that right there in the app. What I used to do was, most of it, when I look back, I'm like, even then I was just using memes. If I found a meme that kind of reflected how I was feeling that day, I would use a meme. And then, yeah, voice recordings. Check it out and let me know what you think of it. And I had they had like a sale or something on their lifetime membership, and because I wasn't gonna pay monthly or anything like that, but let's see. I'm not sure how, because it says it's only $4.17 a month if billed monthly, but at some point I got an offer for lifetime, and so I don't ever have to pay for it again, which is really cool. Yeah, monthly subs are the worst. Yeah, Janet, and I used to be. There's something about that last round of nursing school. It's almost like it made my ADHD worse, because after that is when I found it harder to concentrate on like the TV show that I was watching or reading a book. Right now I have to alternate between audiobook and my Kindle app. And there's some books that I have in all three formats. I've got a paperback or hardback, and digital and audio, because depending on what my brain's decided it wants to do that day, either I can't listen to anything in focus, or I can't read anything in focus. So I have to switch back and forth, and sometimes I use both. audio and print. So I'm sorry to hear that, Psych. But I resemble that comment. I get that. In fact, for most of last year, somebody asked me, "How are you doing?" You know, and this would be people that knew what I was going through. And I would just look at them and I'm like, "Do you really want to know? Be sure you really want to know before you ask me that." Because I was in a place where trauma dumping was. I would victimize the cashiers at Ralph's. Um, don't ask me, "How are you doing today?" Because I might burst out crying trying to pay because I can't remember the PIN for my debit card. But I hope you're feeling better, or you get to feeling better. Just know that you're loved and supported here, okay, Psych? And I'm glad you're here. And I understand the always being a little down. And yeah. Today, the kiddo had 2 appointments, mental health appointments, and afterwards, first she said she wanted to go to Starbucks, but she kind of doesn't because she feels because of the Israel-Palestine situation, and so then I said, "Well, how about boba?" And there was a boba place right across the street, and it just kind of brightened our day a little bit to just stop, get some boba that, probably couldn't afford, but it was worth it just to get out and do something fun for a few minutes after having, kind of an emotionally grueling couple of hours, and totally worth it. So I would suggest, if you're not already doing it, always try to find something to do for yourself that's really nice, and it doesn't have to even cost anything. If it's going to a park and watching the ducks, or really anything. Sometimes just strolling through the mall. When I was in high school, a friend and I we would just go to the mall and try stuff on. We couldn't afford to buy anything, but we would go around and we'd just try stuff on. And it was fun. And just find something fun to brighten your day. It doesn't even have to be much. Awakened says, "I lost so much years ago due to OneNote password protection. It just sits and laughs at me, makes me sick." Oh, OneNote did you dirty? I'm not a huge fan of OneNote. I tried using that for a little bit, and it just wasn't easy. I have used, what is that other one now? GoodNotes. GoodNotes 5 is pretty good. I can't tell the difference in the different versions, because 5 seems just like 4 to me, but a little less glitchy. But that's about it. Yes, Awakened. All the ones for everybody that needs them. Yeah. And a lot of times you just have to mention a song, because like for right now, I've got like a remix of Brandy and Carry On My Wayward Son going on. And it's weird. Yeah. And then sometimes I'll wake up, there would have been a song in a dream or something, and I'll wake up and I'm stuck with that song for the rest of the day. What else? Yeah, music. And then I can be one of those people who will make up a song to an existing tune just by hearing some random words. fortunately, I try to do that mostly when I'm just by myself, so I'm not making everyone around me crazy. So Mary's put up the link for Awakened by the Looking Glass. Okay, so now I know what Cricut's talking about. Because when you use the emoji, what I've got is red face, red heart shape, face, red heart shape, over and over again. Yeah, window shopping is fun. It can be really fun. Yeah. Yeah, Janet. Depression is so hard. And it's interesting. Today I was looking at an Instagram post of an old friend's child. And it was a photo that she posted, a photo that her mom had taken of her on a hike. And then underneath she explained that at that moment the picture was taken, she was contemplating ending her life. And it was just really profound. Especially since her mom had no idea at that moment. She was doing everything. She and I had talked, and she had done everything in her power to get her child the help that they needed, and they made it through. They've got a job, they've got a partner, and things are going well for them now. But it was kind of dicey, and I don't know that my friend knew just how dicey it was until she saw her child's post. I keep saying they and trying to use gender neutral terms because they are non-binary. And yeah, it's hard, very hard. And then when you recognize it's happening in somebody you care about around you, that's hard too. But one thing about depression is when you have experienced it or you are experiencing it, it can make you more sensitive when you see it in somebody else near you or around you, and hopefully make you more empathic about it, or empathetic, hopefully. That's kind of how I have approached a lot of my efforts to help the kiddo out with her depression, is because when I look at her, I see me when I was her age. But for different reasons, a lot of the things that she's feeling and expressing are very similar to the stuff that I was feeling and expressing at her age. And it's enabled me to be more patient with her. Because there's a lot of outbursts and meltdowns and things like that. And patience and grace is pretty much the only way I know that we're going to get through it. But I believe now that we're going to get through it. If you'd asked me in January, my hope was kind of faltering. But in the last few months, I see the hope. I see it. I feel it now. And it feels good. Me either. Now, I had used it for years, but was manic probably for the first time in my life. And yep, used the password, the most secure password site ever. I am so sorry. That's the worst. That's kind of like my relationship with Venmo. They have probably $20 of mine that I'll never be able to get because the account was linked to an email address I don't have access to anymore. You can't call and talk to a person. And apparently I was emailing with people who didn't know how to read or something, because I would explain can you change my email address if I can verify my identity, because I don't have that account anymore. I have this email. And I'm like, okay, so what was your original email? We need to send a confirmation there. I'm like, I can't access it. It doesn't exist anymore. It was wild. So they can just have my $20 because it's worth my sanity. And I'll just never use Venmo again. It's fine. It was a fun live. I really enjoyed it. It was, I was laughing a little before I went live. I was laughing about how Kristen had asked, because I joined the live late because time lost all meaning for me there for about 2 hours. And for some reason I thought I had time to do 2 hours of processing on my hair in 1 hour, and I didn't. And so when I think it was Kristen had asked about time blindness, does anybody experience that? Or I can't remember who it was that asked. And I'm like, right here, just happened. Because that's exactly what had happened in my brain. It just, I don't even know how to explain it. I had finished, I had my virtual therapy appointment at 1 o'clock. And for some reason I thought I had, hi Sandy Wandy, it's good to see you. For some reason I thought I had 2 hours, and I didn't. I only had a minute in between my therapy session and the panel. And when I do things like that, all I can do is laugh. That's it. This morning, I had a court hearing on the guardianship, and my alarm goes off at 7, and I hit snooze, and I say I'm going to just rest my eyes for 8 minutes or whatever weird timing it has on there. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up and it's 8 o'clock, and the hearing's at 8:30, and I'm just like, well, thank goodness for Zoom hearings, because I'm just going to be dialing in today. Which is embarrassing too, because I live 4 miles away from the courthouse. But yeah, I was not going to make it. So, let's see. Carry on. I would love to hear a funny story of what happened today. Did you start telling it? I think I got lost in here. Said I came to the conclusion that just the other day that psychotherapy doesn't work for me. I can't schedule times to examine my thoughts with a professional. It's easier if I talk in the moment or journal. Okay. Well, I would really, really encourage you to stick to the journaling if that helps you, and if you have a trusted person that you can share that with and bounce it off of, that could help a lot too. What I found is, even when things went back in person after the pandemic, that virtual therapy was the easiest way to make sure that I would attend my appointments and on time. I have multiple alarms set on my phone to remind me that time is approaching. I get text messages from my therapist, and so far I've been pretty consistent with my attendance. There was one time I fell asleep, but because if I have to get dressed, get in the car, and drive somewhere, more than likely, if I manage to do all that, I'm going to be late. And it just seems to do something to my nerves, having to do all the steps to get there. Whereas if it's virtual, all I have to do is come over here to my desk, click the link, and join. And I've done that in my pajamas when I'm having a really bad day. So if that's something that's available to you, you might want to consider that too, Psych. Yes, Misha, you do have to be very mindful and wary of who you share certain things with. You've got to have somebody that you really, really trust with your innermost thoughts, even if you're not even telling them everything. There's some things that, well, not even the things that you tell people, it's the people that you tell those things to. Some of them are just, you don't even know it. And then all of a sudden they turn on you and they become a snake in the grass, and that's devastating. I put together 3 fragrance samples for Cricket today. I went to the post office to mail them, and while I was filling out her address, One More for the Road came on over the speaker. Fantastic! Mon, how are you doing? You made it. Yeah, I was just going to do a short little live, and I have no idea how long I've been talking. Oh, over an hour. Wowzers, I had no idea. And I thank you guys for hanging in here with me. I actually was not feeling well. My head felt like there was a hot ball of lead right here in my left temple. And as I've been sitting here chatting with you guys, it's easing up. I almost feel like a person again. Is your caregiver someone that you can trust? You might not feel that you can share everything with your mom, but and you know what, Psych? On the lifeboat, have you gone over there to see if you could find your 5? Tommy was talking about that today. Finding your 5 people is for anyone. It doesn't have to be for someone who's dealing with an addiction or anything like that. It could be anybody who needs somebody to talk to. And I'd recommend that. Yeah. I don't have 5, but I have a solid. Well, no, I maybe have 5. It's just 3 that I don't really turn to a whole lot, but I know I could if I needed to. I have one bestie. She lives right around the corner. She's a woman who literally drove to my house on the worst day of my life to be here for me. And in her pajamas. And but she has so much on her too, so sometimes I feel like I don't want to burden her. And I know that's silly, because we should really burden each other, you know. That's what connection and everything is about. Thank you, Brandy. I don't know what to do but be me. Yeah, Awakened. That one takes practice. I used to just blurt out, and I still do, actually. In fact, I still feel bad about something that I said to somebody a month ago. But at that, my buttons have been pushed. And speaking of buttons, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for the reminder, Mon. And yeah, I'm just doing what I know to do. Most of the time, I will tell people, because I only really do things like that. I'm going to put a pin in this. I just remembered an example where I embarrassed an attorney in public. It's usually when somebody's trying to argue with me. I don't do arguments. I have no problem with having a conversation or a discussion, but if it's arguing and yelling and I'm not there for it, and I'm going to stop it and say, hey, let's come back and talk about this later when we're feeling calmer. And this person just kept pushing and kept pushing, and so I blurted out something that never should have been said out loud. But it did end the conversation, and I did have to go back and apologize. And I still feel bad about it. And that's kind of one of the ways I worked on getting my mouth to slow down and wait for my brain, was I would have to, when I felt something coming up, I'd be like, pause. How long are you going to feel bad about that if you actually say that out loud? Then don't say that. Let's see. That's it exactly, Misha. Yeah. Misha said, I felt like that also until the boat found me. Now I'm not alone anymore, and many of my most incredible relationships are with people in this chat right now. Yes, exactly that. And I know it's big for Tommy and for Reese and for Mary and pretty much everybody in here, is that we're forming connection and community here. These channels aren't like the others, you know. I've started to realize, since I have been more active in our community, I'm less interested with the channels that I used to watch all the time. When I found Aaron's channel, it just popped up in my feed, but most of my feed was creepypastas, makeup tutorials. No, I don't even think I was watching makeup tutorials then. It was yeah, creepypastas, and watching gamers stream the games that they were playing. And that was pretty much it. I had turned to that during the pandemic just because I was not turning on a TV lest I accidentally see news or something, because it was killing me. So yeah, that's what sucked me into YouTube, and by 2021 I was watching YouTube videos pretty much exclusively. I'm like, I don't even need cable, whatever. And then it started with growing up in Scientology, and then from there came Tommy and the Lifeboat. I don't think I started following the Lifeboat regularly until Reese. And then when Reese was outed and the two of them locked eyes, I'm not gonna lie, I saw something special from the get-go, okay? And I know a lot of us did. Yeah, I saw something special about those two, and I was just like, I was hooked. And so, yeah, it was after Reese and Tommy met in Florida is when I started following the Lifeboat consistently. And that alone has been life-changing for me. And then watching Reese as she's been growing and building her part of the community, that has just been phenomenal. Yeah. So, community. I think it's the community that it can lift us up if we're in the right community, and we lift each other up. Here's Kristen Melinda's channel, and I love her. I haven't been able to catch her lives as much as I used to. And oh my gosh, it's almost 11 Pacific. It's about time for cricket. So let's get ready to do a room raid over there. Okay, so you only have Instagram and X. And you're brave. As soon as Elon Musk, I was already kind of wanting to get rid of my Twitter account, just because it was just becoming a nasty place. It's right up there with Reddit for me now. I'd rather not. And yeah, I couldn't with that. Psych, consider maybe creating a Facebook just to link to the specific communities or groups that you want to. Don't even tell your friends you have one. And you can make all your stuff private. Nobody can even request you as a friend. There's ways to do it where you could still be connected with Facebook without being connected. Think about it. Let's see. Thanks for stopping by, Brandy, if you're still here. And I'm glad you're sleepy. And it was good getting to know you a little bit, and I hope to get to know you some more. Thank you. I saw a short a while back that showed a man say, "We've got 5 minutes before we have to go." She said, "Okay, I have to do 1, 2, 3, etc." He said, "Babe, that means we have 290 seconds. She freaked out and said, "No way." Is that the, oh, there's I think they're Australian couple, where she has ADHD and he's neurotypical. I love them if that's who you're talking about, because it sounds like something that they would do. Let's see. I don't know what's happening, Mary, but I keep getting your comments twice. Let's see. All right, I see people making connections, and I love it. I'm kind of like that. I'm not particularly artistic or crafty, psych, but I do. I have dabbled in painting, and I have a tendency. Well, I've only done one painting. I don't know why I'm saying dabbled. Like I've got a gallery going on in here, but I'll kind of hide stuff for a little while, and then I'll like, here, I made this. Please don't laugh at me. So a few months ago, the kiddo and I decided we just ran out to Michael's and we got some acrylic paints and some canvases, small canvases, and I pulled up a YouTube video. She just kind of did what she felt like doing, and I pulled up a YouTube tutorial and followed along, and I did this, and it was fun. I gotta work on the signature because that just looks like I'm gonna paint over that and fix it. But I like the rest of the painting. There's a boo-boo in there, but most people say they can't see it, and that's okay. Okay. Sometimes those thumbs get in the way. Yeah, and you always think I can do this one thing real quick before I go. And that gets me every time. Um, but toning your hair isn't one of those things that you can do real quick before you have to go. 8.5 minutes behind. That's okay. You're good. Oh, Misha, bless you. Well, I'm glad you came, and I'm glad I was able to lift you up a little bit too. Um, that is hard. I know it's hard. We've got a tough anniversary coming up, but we're going to be on the cruise while it happens, and so I'm hoping that the kiddo and I don't even remember it. So it'll be her mom's birthday on September 24th, and last year it was rough. So we'll see how we do this time. But yeah, those are difficult anniversaries. Thank you, Misha. And let's see, it's about that time. You want to head over and let me see if she's going yet. Because she's usually a few minutes late. Looking. She's not live yet. So, let me give her a few more minutes. What time is that? Sandy, today's your birthday? Happy birthday! I'd sing, but I'm not Cricket. We'll have to have Cricket sing for you. That's really hard. Yeah, the kiddo's birthday is on the 19th of September, and then her mom's birthday was the 24th, and so that's like a week where everybody's just completely out of sorts. We want to celebrate the kiddo, and we don't know what to do with the other day anymore. It's hard. It's really hard. Misha, counseling, a lot of counseling. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. And grief is something that's going to be with us pretty much forever. The only thing that we can change about it is how we feel about it. And I finally decided at the beginning of this year that I was ready to stop being angry. I had been angry for over a year and a half, and it was exhausting. And once I was able to let that go, it's been easier to let other things, to make peace with other things. And that's what we can do with grief, is make peace with it, because it's with us forever. And there's a quote, and I don't know where it came from, but it goes something like, grief is what happens when you loved someone. And when we lose somebody, we're not going to stop loving them. And so when we're going through the grieving process, we have to let go of the things that we don't want so that all that's left is the love. Don't ask me where that came from, because it literally just came out of my head. It felt right. So, but yeah, we have to let go of the hurt and the painful stuff so that we can just continue to love them. Yes, it's like there are definitely people that appreciate you and are sending you love. I'm glad you're caught up, Psych, because I'm behind. Mon, you had said something earlier about my hair. I'm not totally happy. If you watch the panel from yesterday on Ben Bacon Bits channel, you'll see that my hair was kind of brownish, and if you could zoom in closer, you would also see that my roots were blue. I was not having a good time. Yeah, I've been trying to lighten my hair. I finally got most of the orangey amber color out, but I'm scared to take it any further lest I lose all my hair. So it's almost platinum here right in the front, and then it kind of goes peach and then salmon. It looks like salmon. I'm going to let it rest for a while and continue to do deep conditioning and whatnot for a few weeks, and then after months of asking my child what her friend's mom does for a living, she finally says, "Oh, she does hair." I'm like, seriously? Could you not have told me a month and a half ago and I wouldn't have had to do all of this? Yes, and I've been going through that quite a bit actually in the last few weeks myself. There are times where I'm there, but I'm just lurking and listening, because sometimes I can't keep up with the chat, and so I don't even, usually when I'm watching a live, I'm watching it on my Roku TV, and on there I can either pull up the chat and have it running on the side or turn it off, and lately I've been turning it off just because I can't keep up with it, because I'm having a hard time focusing, and I might, if I hear something, I'm just like, oh, I have to say something, and then I'll pop in and say one thing and then disappear again. I get it. Thank you, Misha. Yeah, Christmas is another one. I just focus on trying to dote on the kiddo and stay out of my own head. Okay, Heather, is she live now? Let's head on over and see Cricket and Room Raid. I will see you guys over there, okay? Thank you so much for joining me as I ramble. And, oh, psych, I just saw this. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And I hope that you can find a way. I know you don't leave the house much, but if you can find a way to get help for that virtually, I highly recommend it. I actually did EMDR virtually, and it worked. So I'd look into it, okay? And I love you guys. Thanks for coming by, and I will see you over on Charles Live. See you then. Bye.